Hello and welcome back to the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who recommended Ted Lasso to me. Brandon, Saheen, Gabby, wherever you are, and anyone else. Y'all are realists.
Wherever you are, like, she just busy. She ain't gone.
Wherever she is.
She ain't here, so she's gone.
Mystery voice who
Anyway,
hasn't introduced himself yet.
they know who I is. There are only so many of us on this podcast. I'm Colin, and at this point, honestly, I think I'm gonna not watch Ted Lasso out of protest. So that's where I am.
And I'm Demi, and last night I was within arm's reach of Dove Cameron, who stars on a different Apple TV show called Schmigadoon. And yeah, that's definitely got to be considered a highlight of life. Welcome to another episode of Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Throwback Thursdays, Fancast Fridays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today we are doing reviews for No Time to Die, What If, and Ted Lasso. I think I said those out of order, but it's okay. You guys will get it.
Sure, I didn't know what the order was. We're just kind of winging it. If you're wondering where Gabby is, so are we. So before we get into this episode, please like, share, and subscribe because if we get a big following, Gabby might come back to us.
Maybe. Who knows?
She didn't. She's not.
She's not? She won't come back to us, Colin? Is that what you're saying?
No,
She's
no.
not gone. She's just
I mean,
busy.
she's not gone, but she's not here. So, like, is she gone? Yeah, Colin, you'll know where Gabby is. Anyway, Demi,
Yes.
you want to start off with James Bond and the James Bond?
Yeah, sure. Let me get into No Time to Die because I'm the only person in the group who saw it. Directed by Kerry Joji Fukunaga, and it stars Daniel Craig, Rami Malek, Lea Seydoux, got it, Naomi Harris, Ben Whishaw, Lashana Lynch, Ana de Armas, and Rafe Fiennes. James Bond has left active service. His peace is short-lived when Felix Leiter, an old friend from the CIA, turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology.
Ooh.
Usually, for reviews, I would have notes on the movie itself. I have no notes today, guys. We're just going to freestyle off the dome. I really enjoyed this movie. For the record, I watched all 4 of Daniel Craig's James Bond movies in the week leading up to the movie's release because I had only ever seen Casino Royale and I saw it in high school and didn't remember a thing. So I had to rewatch them so I knew what was going on in this one. And I'm really glad I did because I really felt like this was a really good wrap up to the 4 previous movies before it. And also it felt a little bit like a love letter or like a tribute to Daniel Craig's time as James Bond. There's a lot of strands that connect to previous movies. And I think each movie has done that. They've really gone with a sort of serialized version of James Bond with Daniel Craig's Bond. And it's been really enjoyable for me, for the most part. If I had to rank these movies, I would say Skyfall and Casino Royale are Daniel Craig's best James Bond movies. This one is not too far behind it. It's really good. And then we have Spectre, which was cool, wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And then we have Quantum of Solace, which was an unfortunate victim of the writer's strike back in 2007. Yikes. But yeah, No Time to Die. The action is very, very good. I love the way that the movie is shot. I think Daniel Craig might give his best performance as Bond in this movie. It's really hard to say though, because he consistently gives a good performance no matter which movie you're watching, even the one that's not quite well written. That one, he's at least doing his best. He's fantastic in this role of Bond. He really has this version that he's been playing down pat. I know nothing about the other Bonds. I'm so sorry. But
I mean, they're British, they're white.
Yeah, but
they shoot people, they slap women, I think.
I haven't. Okay, Daniel Craig's does not slap women.
No, of course not. It's 2021.
You know what? So Leo DiCaprio punched Margot Robbie in the stomach in a movie. So
yeah, but he's gonna do whatever he can to get that Oscar.
Anyway, but yeah, Daniel Craig has had a very emotional run as Bond, starting from Casino Royale, and that really pays off even in this movie.
Wait, when you say emotional, you mean like for the character or for the actor?
For the character.
Okay.
Yeah. His Bond is very emotional and goes through a lot of turmoil throughout these films.
Question.
Yes.
Is Casino Royale the one where that dude had him in the chair, was hitting his balls with that thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
That's a scene.
I saw that movie, and I don't remember a lot, but I remember they played cards, and I remember he was getting his balls crushed, and I thought, "You gotta quit. I'm not James Bond after that. Like, I'm not 007 anymore. I'm turning in my papers."
What's crazy is I didn't remember that scene at all, and I
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
that stuck
rewatched
with
the
me.
movie. Like I remembered nothing. I was like, I know that there are cards involved, and I knew that the first action sequence of Casino Royale consisted of him chasing after the actor who he's chasing after is the man who is a co-creator of parkour. And I know this because I was
Oh.
obsessed with parkour for the longest.
Nice. I do remember that opening scene. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just went from that to the ball slapping, and I was like, "Ooh."
That's a good method of torture, though, I must say. It's
Oh,
very
that still
creative
was
as well.
effective. I'll tell you anything
Listen.
you want.
Some people are into that shit.
Those people are perfectly valid, but, you know,
That's not what
I'm
I
just
said to
saying,
start it out.
for me, you ain't even gotta like, once I see you pull out the whatever that thing was, I'm like, "Nah, bro, I'll tell you everything. I'm snitching.
I'm
I got
snitching.
all the names, M, Q, R, J, K, any letter you want.
All of the
I'll tell you the
letters.
names, the addresses.
A
Don't
through
hit me
Z,
with that
let's
thing."
go.
Exactly.
Rami Malek is a very creepy villain in this movie. I don't think he's the best one of Craig's villains, but he's definitely very creepy. Although his motives, I'm still kind of confused as to what his motives. I have an understanding of them, but I don't know why he does some of the things he does based off of those motives.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Lea Seydoux is. I'm really glad that I watched the Bond movies because I saw her for the first time in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And she was, I mean, she's good in that, but she's like a villain henchman. So she doesn't really get to do much.
Gotcha.
And in this movie, she was acting. So that was really nice to actually get to see her like really get to play like this character. And she's got so much emotional stuff going on in it. And she's great. And there is a pretty good amount of French that is spoken in this movie, and I love it.
Are you a Francophile?
I mean, I took 3 semesters of French in college, so a little bit. Not really, but a little bit.
And they say I'm a Francophile. At least they know I know where France is.
Naomi Harris and Benoit Shaw are great, as they always are, as Moneypenny and Q. I mostly wanted to see this movie for two actresses, and it was Lashana Lynch and Ana de Armas. I
Yes.
love Lashana Lynch's, her 007's relationship with James Bond. It's very funny and it's very competitive and it's really great. And I love that dynamic.
So wait, she's another 007?
No, she is 007. He left. He's no longer 007.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's out the game.
He out the game. So she's 007. So when he
They don't. Okay, I thought she didn't get a new number. They just reused.
No, they didn't.
They're like jersey numbers.
What's funny is there actually is a line in the movie where she goes, "What? You thought they were gonna retire your number?"
I'm like, yo, man, I got my balls crushed for y'all.
No, we
Put
ain't
my jersey in the
retiring your number.
rafters.
No.
Man.
Oh man. And then
Yeah.
obviously the other actress I was super looking forward to was Ana de Armas, who is not in this movie as much as I would like her to be. But
Womp, womp.
for the sequence that she is in, she's Ana de Armas. She's fantastic. You put
She
her in
looked
the
fantastic in the trailer.
you put her in the movie for like 5 minutes, and that's still enough of a 5 minutes for me to go, man, you're so good at what you do. Like, give Ana de Armas an action franchise. She would be so good at it. She's so good in this movie for the small amount of time that she's in it. Somebody wrote that, like, she's not underutilized. It's that she is there as much as you need her to be, but it leaves you wanting more. And, like, yeah, I did. I want a Paloma spinoff. Give it to me. But yeah, action's dope. The action is always dope. Billie Eilish's Bond song is really good in my opinion. I really like the Bond opening credits sequences that they do. I always think that they're really interesting and very like abstract. I'm like, what does this have to do with the movie?
What was the thing? Because I know Spectre had like the hentai tentacles in the
Yes.
intro. So what was the theme for this one? Was it like time? Was it clocks?
Yeah, kind of. It was like a mixture of like almost all of the movies from previous.
Oh, cool.
Because, you know, it's like it's Daniel Craig's swan song as
Right.
Bond. So it kind of had a little bit from like every single movie previously. It's hard for me to tell you because the movie is 2 hours and 43 minutes and the opening credits don't happen until about 25 minutes into the movie. So
What?
yeah.
That's a TV episode.
Like, But it's because they never put up the opening credits until you get through the first action sequence. That first opening action sequence. But
I would be mad
it's
if I watched 25 minutes of a movie and then I get opening credits.
I think it's 25 minutes of the movie. I think that's what I read in an
Oh my
article. They said
God.
it's 25 minutes before you get to the opening credits. But man, is it kind of worth it? Like,
It's funny.
See,
I
I feel
almost.
like
Oh, what's up, Colin?
I feel like they time that somehow. It's like just so you get through that first action seasons, and then you get the opening credits, and then just on that 30-minute line where you can get a refund of like, you know what, that was too much, too much before we hit the opening credits. I gotta go.
I would just assume there aren't opening credits if I got that far into
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah,
But
no.
it's funny. I almost watched this movie yesterday. I didn't have to work, and Kayla and I were both home, and we like going to movies. And I was like, "Hey, did you want to see James Bond?" She was like, "I mean, I wouldn't mind." I looked up the running time, and I was like,
It's 2 hours and
never
43
mind."
minutes.
We stayed home.
Yeah, me and my dad were like trying to find showtimes because I was like, I'm not seeing this movie at 10 o'clock at night. It's not
Oh
happening.
no,
I will
Fuck
not.
no. Not with that
no.
runtime.
We went to a 7:30 showing.
Reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
which
better.
still meant that we didn't get out until almost 11,
Yeah,
but still reasonable. Yeah, no, it's a really good movie. I think it's a really good movie. I think it's a really good way of sending off Daniel Craig. It does some things that I was not expecting. If you're a Bond fan, you'll probably love it. I really appreciate the fact that there are like 4 women in this movie because Bond women kind of run 3 tropes. And yeah, I was getting tired. So
It's fair. That's why, it's been that way for like 60 years. You throw some gold paint on them and hope for the best.
So yeah, it was nice to have 4 very different women on screen. And that, probably helped that Phoebe Waller-Bridge did the rewrites on the film.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that when the Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing came up.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was great. I look forward to seeing who they're going to cast for the next Bond, which they're not going to start looking for the next Bond until 2022. And I want a Paloma sequel. In fact, just give me a sequel that has Paloma and 007 and Madeline, all 3 of them together. I would watch every second of it.
Is Madeline Léa Seydoux?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
She's great.
Do you have a Bond in mind? Like who you want to be the next Bond?
I
Is
mean,
it
like,
Idris Elba?
it's really hard for me to be like invested in who they should cast for Bond because I'm not a James Bond fan. I would not call myself a James Bond fan, even though I have really enjoyed the 5 movies that I've just watched this past week.
Right.
But from the choices that people have put out on the internet of who they would like to see, I am invested in the idea of Idris Elba playing Bond or Henry Cavill, but the man is busy, so I would understand if he does not have the time. But I would love to see Henry Cavill play James Bond.
Fair. Colin, any thoughts on Bond?
I'm just waiting for the day that they announce that Timothy Chevrolet is the new James Bond.
I don't know if they will. They don't typically cast Americans.
Listen,
is he
I
American?
don't.
Timothy, yes.
I just assumed he was not of this earth.
He's from like
I don't know.
LA.
I don't know anything about. Yeah. Kind of. He gives LA vibes. I don't know anything about him. I don't think I've actually ever seen any of his movies.
You probably haven't.
Yeah, it's fair.
Unless you saw Lady Bird.
What I look like? Never mind.
What?
This like running beef with Greta Gerwig.
I mean, hey,
Even though I've
man.
never seen her work, and it's probably good. It's just
Oh, I'm sorry. He was born in New York. He's from Manhattan. I think he went to high school in LA though. Anyway, you'll watch a
I
Timothy.
learned something today.
Yeah, you'll watch a Timothy Chalamet movie soon enough if you end up watching Dune.
Sounded like a threat.
Oh, you'll watch one.
You'll watch one.
I'm gonna watch the Roots, the Willy Wonka story. When he's in that.
God.
We don't have to keep this in the podcast, but I saw someone point out that picture of him with the costume. They said the hat has a dick vein,
I
and
saw
I
that.
can't
And
stop
I
thinking
almost
about
deleted Twitter off my phone.
it. Right.
Join the club, Dallas. Join the club. Just delete it. Yeah. So that's my review of No Time to Die. What are
Yeah.
you guys' thoughts on No Time to Die? Did you guys see it? Did you guys like it? I enjoyed it. Dallas.
I thought you were asking us. I was like, you
I thought
know
you
we
were talking
didn't
to
see.
us.
No, you
I was
guys
like,
didn't
I
see
just
it.
said I didn't see it.
Dallas, what are your thoughts on Ted Lasso? Since Gabby is not here.
Teddy Lasso. Okay, so man, I'm so disappointed that Gabby's not here. She's a big part of the reason I even watched this show, and then she just, abandoned me.
That's not what happened. She was busy.
No, she abandoned
Anyway,
us.
exactly.
She made a
No.
choice.
Colin.
She
Stop caping for Gabby.
No,
She's not here. She abandoned us.
that's not what.
Anyway, Ted Lasso. Developed by Jason Sudeikis, Bill Lawrence, Brendan Hunt, and Joe Kelly. So everybody knows who Jason Sudeikis is. Bill Lawrence created Scrubs and Cougar Town, which I didn't realize, but it makes sense. Kayla loves both of those shows, and she loves Ted Lasso. Brendan Hunt plays Coach Beard on this show. Joe Kelly was a writer for How I Met Your Mother. So they got a lot of funny people involved. It's also based on a series of ads, like commercials for soccer. I want to say NBC was going to show Premier League soccer games. So they made an ad campaign where Jason Sudeikis played a Midwestern football coach who became a soccer coach. And then someone saw that and was like, that could be an Emmy nominated TV show. And it is. And it stars Jason Sudeikis, Hannah Waddingham, Brett Goldstein, Brendan Hunt, Juno Temple, and a bunch of other people. The IMDb summary states American college football coach Ted Lasso heads to the UK to manage a struggling London football team in the top flight of English football. So I watched both seasons over the course of the last couple months. I'm going to keep my review to this season because...
Which is season 2?
Yeah, season 2.
Mhm.
Even though season 1 is slightly more enjoyable for reasons I'll kind of get into. So chances are you've heard that the show is positive, super uplifting, sweet, charming, etc. It's all of that, and it's more of that than you think it is, because I was told that. Shout out to Brandon. He was just like, yeah, it's super, you're gonna love it, man. It's super positive. And I was like, all right, we'll see. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, he was right. I understand how Colin is feeling, like when somebody, or not even somebody, when everyone is just constantly building something up. After a certain point, it's like, yo, it can't live up to it. It can't meet the hype. It can't beat the hype. You're all building up too much. That's what happened with me in Inception. I like that movie, but I couldn't love that movie because everyone was like, Inception's the best movie in the world. The top, the DiCaprio, the white people, the dream.
Why? Were people yelling about it like they were at a WWE match? What
They
is
were,
this?
yes. Jumping off of rooftops and cages. Inception. I hung out with some extreme people back in 2010. Anyway, 2009? I don't know. One of
It
those.
was 2010. It was shortly
Okay,
after
that's
we
what I thought.
graduated high school.
Yeah. Interesting time. But anyway, no, this show, it met every expectation that I had. It made me care about soccer just because of how much I care about this team and like the people involved. So season 1 was pretty much just a bundle of happiness when we all needed it most. It came out during 2020, which, was just a simulation gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Going into our
The
junior
year was
year of the
trash.
Panini.
Yes. 2020 was hot garbage. Season 1 came out and we were like, oh my God, some happiness. We needed this so much. And season 2 came out this year and it's just as funny, but with some drama and anxiety thrown in, kind of like to balance things out. And
Can't be happy all the time.
exactly. And some people aren't rocking with that. And I understand. Like some people just want this to be the feel good show that it's always been. But shows need conflict, shows need drama. And they're doing it to our boy. Ted is going through it in season 2. And so is Nate's punk ass, but I'll get to Nate later because y'all don't know who Nate is because y'all don't watch the show. But if you've seen the show, you listening out there, you know who Nate is and you know why he's a punk ass. The show is obviously heavily character based because it's the characters that make you love it so much. Ted Lasso is one of my favorite characters ever. He handles pretty much every interaction in the ideal way from a standpoint of like treating people with decency to the point where it could easily feel very unrealistic. But when Ted speaks about people and about the way he interacts with people, it comes from a real place. So it's not just like this guy's super positive all the time. We don't know why. We get stuff in the season that explains his outlook on life, explains how he became the way he is, and explains why he acts the way he does. And I'm like, wow, it feels real, even though no one acts like this. But yeah, we found out more about his past. It hits right in the heart. Kayla and I have a running joke about various characters trying to steal the spot of our favorite, but Roy Kent is definitely always in the running for first place. He's played by Brett Goldstein, and I don't know why, but there's like a running, I don't want to call it a theory because people don't really believe it, but there's a running joke about him being a CGI person. I cannot explain it.
Why?
I cannot explain it. Brett Goldstein, as far as I know, is a real dude. He has a podcast. It's very funny.
He won an Emmy.
He won an Emmy. Everybody won an Emmy. They won so many Emmys. The show is great. Yeah, he plays Roy, and Roy seems like he wants to be a mean dude so bad. He comes off really crotchety and ornery, but he's really sweet on the inside. And he has a niece, and the scenes with him and his niece are like just so delightful. She's a sweetheart. And I don't even really like kids like that. Moving on. The owner of the team is Rebecca, and it's not really a spoiler to say she kind of starts off feeling like a de facto antagonist in season 1, but we're past that now. And even then, we couldn't hate her. She's great. She sings Let It Go from Frozen during karaoke. It's fantastic. She's played by Hannah Waddingham,
Yep.
who I didn't realize is the woman who kept shouting shame at what's her name on Game of
I
Thrones.
didn't either.
And got waterboarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently she got waterboarded. I
No,
know
wine
that part.
boarded.
Sorry.
They did it with wine?
Waterboarded. Well, I don't know if it was actually
It's probably not real wine.
But like in the story, it was
Yeah,
wine.
in the
In the
story,
story,
it's
it was
wine.
wine.
That's wild.
But I mean, behind the scenes, they did waterboard her.
Yeah.
She deserves better.
Also, she
But,
plays one of Jackson's gay moms on Sex Education.
Okay, I knew she was on Sex Education because I saw it in her list of credits. I didn't know who she was, but that's dope.
She's very awesome. She's really good on that show.
And she's like great in real life. She was on Brett Goldstein's podcast and they were talking, and she just seems like a delightful woman. Shout out to Hannah. But yeah, every character is great except for Rupert and Nate. To me, Rupert is the one who's played by Anthony Stewart Head or Anthony Head. I'm not sure what he goes by now.
Anthony Stewart Head is really good at playing douchebags.
Yeah, he is.
Which is crazy because he's also really good at playing really nice guys. The man has range.
He has range, and he's not showing it here because he's one of the only characters on the show who doesn't really have a redemption arc, at least not one that we've seen so far. I don't think he's going to get one. He's just a dick. But pretty much even the characters that start off as antagonists or just downright dickheads, for the most part, end up being lovable or at least understandable by the end. Rupert doesn't. He's just a dick. And Nate, I don't want to spoil anything, so I just say his trajectory doesn't really go that way. But if I see Nate in the streets, it's on sight. And I know I'm talking about a fictional character, but I stand by it. I don't know how to make that make sense, but I've never not never, but in recent memory, I haven't wanted to fight a character more than Nate from Ted Lasso. If I see you in the street, Nate, we're running fades.
Not the actor, the
Hands.
character.
Not the actor. Shout out to Nick Mohammed. He's a great actor and he's playing the hell out of this character. And I'm really glad that we're in the world of social media and behind the scenes things so we can see the man behind the character. Because I feel like if we didn't know Nick Mohammed as a dude, we just see that character. And then if somebody saw him in the streets, they just swing on him because all they know about him is that he plays Nate and Nate sucks. I got to stop talking about Nate. But yeah, back to redemption arcs. There's a character named Jamie in season 1. I thought I'd hate him forever, but now I love him. And he has an accent I can't identify because I don't know enough about British accents, but I feel like every flavor of British accent is in this show. And his is one of my favorites. There's a reporter named Trent Krim who's basically Ego from Ratatouille. But even he is just a dope dude by the end of the show. It's great. Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. Jason Sudeikis shows his range more than I'd expect because I always knew he was funny and the show is a comedy. So I thought, oh, he's just going to be funny. But there's a lot of drama, like I said in season 2, and he's selling it. I see why he got the Emmy, whichever one he got. Leading the comedy?
Leading the
That
comedy.
sounds right. Yeah, he was acting, not just being funny. He was acting. Yeah, fantastic show. I recommend it to probably everyone. I feel bad because I do think, Colin, that you would like it, but I know I am part of the reason why it's being built up too much. So I don't
It's just
I don't know if I want you to watch it.
the thing about it for me is like the thing that I've heard about it over and over is like it's super wholesome, and I'm like, okay, I can get that 1,000 different other ways. So what is it about this that makes it stand out? And I feel like I've never quite heard that. Plus, it feels like, from what I understand of season 2, it does that thing that I don't, where it's like it's wholesome, but now it's not because there's drama, and now we're gonna make you sad. And it's like you didn't have to do that. You could have just left it wholesome, and it would have been fine.
I think that's the complaint that a lot of people have about season 2. Shout out to Nadia, if you're out there listening. That's Brandon's fiance, you guys. She's been on Twitter like vocal about how she's upset that they took season 2 and added all this drama to it. She's like, make Ted Lasso a feel-good show again. We don't need this drama.
You know, it's funny.
Hmm.
I was scrolling through my Facebook like just now as you've been talking about it, and the second post that popped up was an article that says, will success keep Ted Lasso from sticking to its 3-season plan?
I was reading about that today, and I got sad because yeah, apparently the show was planned for 3 seasons, partially due to the fact that Jason Sudeikis would have limited availability after season 3. Yeah, I don't know. On one hand, I would be sad if the show ended, and I will be sad when it ends. But on the other hand, I've seen shows do the limited thing and make it work well. The Newsroom did it. It's a very different kind of show. It's just the only example I had in my head right now. But yeah, it's a great show. It is wholesome.
Sounds like that season 2 drama was always planned from the start, though.
Yeah. It looks like everything is planned out. even through the season 2 finale, it ends with something that is a clear indication of where we're going. Like, oh, okay, I see what season 3 is going to be. Speaking of the season 2 finale, it ends with Run the Jewels, and that is always a win for me. It ends with the song Yankee and the Brave, episode 4. It came on, and I was sitting next to Kayla, and I almost jumped off the couch. I was like, "Run the Jewels!" She was like, "What's wrong with you?" But
A
I
lot of
love
things.
it. Yes, a lot of things, but this ain't one of them.
You don't have to drag them, man.
Yeah, we all
I mean,
have a
she
lot
knows
of
me.
things wrong with us. It's not
That's true.
him, it's everybody in the world.
That's true. And also, unrelated, but last year Ozark ended with Run the Jewels, and I guess RTJ is just the mark of great TV for me right now, and I'm fine with it. Put it in all the things, all the things, all of them,
All of them.
all of them. All right, that's Ted Lasso, guys. Watch it. Find a friend with Apple TV Plus, or just drop the $5. It's not a lot. It's only $5.
It really is not that much.
Yeah, that's probably cheaper than every other streaming
I
service.
think it is cheaper than every other streaming
Right?
service.
Ain't nobody giving you the for the $5. Just up to $5.
And no commercials
No commercials. Also, you probably get it for free if you buy an iPhone these days. I don't know.
for a trial or something.
Maybe.
Anyway, last thing on our list of things to review. This is about to become a longer review. What if? Every time Marvel has something, I'm just like, oh, the review just got longer.
Yes. All right. What if? Let's get into it.
9
It is
episodes.
9 episodes. So Wikipedia says created by AC Bradley,
Mm-hmm.
and she is known best for her work on Guillermo del Toro's Troll Hunters, Tales of Arcadia, and Three Below, Tales of Arcadia.
Nice. I ain't
I ain't
seen
seen
either of
those,
them.
but yeah, I bet they're good. All episodes are directed by Brian Andrews. He created the show Symbiotic Titan on Cartoon Network. He's also a storyboard artist and a writer for many shows, including Samurai Jack and the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so he's cut his teeth on a lot of Cartoon Network stuff. I'm actually watching Samurai Jack right now for the first time since childhood, and it slaps, but
Keep your
we'll
eye
get
out
to
for
that
his name.
in a new episode. I did. It's funny. I saw it today. I was watching, and I was like, Brian, that's the dude. That's the What If guy. I was like the DiCaprio meme when he's pointing at the TV. Kayla's like, what are you talking
So
about?
that's like
I'm sorry.
one of the best things to come out of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It probably is the best thing to come out of that long ass movie.
I don't know, man.
I mean, Brad Pitt was dope.
And I'm a huge fan of Margaret Qualley now because of that movie.
She was the one with the feet, right?
Yeah. But now she's got a Netflix show called Made that she is super good on. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad she made it out of that movie.
All
right.
What If?
What If stars Jeffrey Wright, a bunch of MCU actors,
and a bunch of
people
MCU actors
who replaced MCU actors. The summary is exploring pivotal moments from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and turning them on their head, leading the audience into uncharted territory. That's not really a summary. That's not really a sentence.
It's not really completely true either. Honestly, it's just a bunch of different universes where different stuff could have happened in the MCU.
Yes, but I do think it rings true in the fact that most of the episodes
connect to a
seem like
big event in the MCU.
In the MCU, yeah, they connect. There's like they're grounded in the foundation of something. Like we have, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's that question that people ask. You've got a choice between orange juice and apple juice. How would your day have changed if you had somehow chosen apple juice instead of orange juice?
I'm sorry.
Something like that.
I've never been asked that question in my life.
You've never discussed
what
something
kind of
like
red
that?
pill, blue pill shit is that?
That's actually like a very like minor way of asking that question, questioning whether or not a multiverse exists. But with bigger events, obviously.
No, see, the thing is, you gotta know, because that's not enough. I gotta know, did I just brush my teeth? Because that's wildly gonna influence my choice and stuff. Like, you gotta.
But that's the point. These choices, had you not made those choices, how did your world change? That's what If is. But
probably not that much, to be honest. Like, that's the thing is like, What If is making big changes. Like, what if this person
Colin,
was Star-Lord instead of this person? Not what if this person drank a different kind of juice?
Colin,
like,
that's why I said the question is usually a bigger event, not something as minor as what I said.
True.
Anyway, What If? Dallas, what did you think of What If?
I love this show. It is without a doubt my favorite of the Marvel shows to come out this year. And I knew it would be because when they released all the announcements and trailers, I saw this one and I thought, animation. I like animation. It's an anthology. I like anthologies. Oh my God, is that Chadwick? I'm in. And it gave me everything I wanted. So I love it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I had a great time watching What If. one of the fun things about anthologies is that some episodes are really going to hit and some episodes aren't going to hit as much. And that really depends on who you are as a person.
Definitely.
I personally liked every episode of the season. I liked some episodes more than others, obviously.
Naturally.
But yeah, I thought that they did a really good job. I'm highly interested in what they'll do for second season. There are so many things that you can do with a show like this. You can come up with the most random concepts, like what if zombies, and and you'll get a really fun episode out of it. I like the way that they tied things together with the last 2 episodes, which was great for me because actually those 2 episodes were some of my most anticipated episodes outside of the Killmonger episode and the Black Panther episode, or well, the Black Panther as Star-Lord episode.
Yeah.
All 4 of which became like my favorite episodes regardless of the show, just overall.
Yeah.
Somebody in the writer's room is a Black Widow stan, and whoever you are, I want to know. You deserve a raise for all of your hard work. Thank you for your service.
Also, speaking of Widow, shout out to Lake Bell because
she did a great job.
She did a great job, and she doesn't sound like Scarlet to me, but she has the Widow energy, and she whenever I hear her now, I just hear Poison Ivy. Like, the voice is obviously the same as Poison Ivy, but she doesn't have that same deadpan apathy that Poison Ivy has.
Yeah. Here's my opinion on it. So she doesn't like, obviously she doesn't sound like Scarlett Johansson. I've listened to Scarlett Johansson speak enough that I know that voice is not Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
But she seems to have like picked up on the inflection and the intonations that Scarlett uses as Black Widow. So even though it's not quite her voice, I'm like, that's still Black Widow though, because that's how Scarlett probably would say this line. For me, I was like, this is still the Black Widow that I know because it still sounds familiar, even though it's not familiar, which is weird. But yeah, I thought she did a great job, seeing as I'm the Black Widow stan. Speaking of Black Widow, I managed to convince somebody to rewatch the movie tonight, just based off of my own love and analysis of that film. So
did they not like it the first time?
They said they didn't really connect with it much.
Gotcha.
And then once I was like talking to them about it, they were like, huh, I didn't see it that way. Now I'm gonna go rewatch it and see what you're talking about. So look at that.
What their findings will be.
I'm curious as well. But yeah, what if?
It's so dope. And
and the
like
visuals are sick.
The animation is so good.
Oh my gosh. Like every episode, there's just like that one shot where you're just like, ooh.
There's so many shots. Every shot of the Watcher and the horizon or the skyline or any background, I'm just
those are great. Those are some of my favorites.
But this is part of the reason why I love animation. You can do things, and even things in the story. It's a half-hour story, for the most part, self-contained. So we can do what we want. We don't have to worry about, and I guess that's more because it's an anthology. We don't have to worry about how this is going to affect everything else. Like,
what's funny is it still does though, because it's still canon.
This is canon, and
all of this is still canon for the MCU. They've announced that it's canon. All of this happened.
I guess when you do multiverses, it doesn't
really matter. As long as it's not affecting the Prime timeline, it doesn't matter. But it was funny watching the show because then when you get to the end of episode 8, in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, all of this is going on while like we're still dealing with just Prime Earth stuff.
Right. It makes you think like, man, I kind of want to see more about some of these universes.
Yeah.
Like, freaking the Star-Lord episode.
It's a good episode.
It's so good. And I like all these episodes. But that one, the way that the Black Widow stuff caters to you is like, this is like, yo, you gave me Chadwick back.
Yeah.
He's the lead of this episode. And it's just, hey, if Star-Lord was Wakandan, he'd be better in every way.
Yeah, if it was just T'Challa, it would just be better. The universe would be a better place.
Like, what's his name? Jamon Hantu's character.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name right now.
He's such a fanboy, and I love it. Korath, I think is his name.
Yes.
The way he fanboys.
I never would have anticipated shipping T'Challa and Nebula.
Yo.
Cha-cha.
Nebula, man. I was like, I don't want to be the thirsty one on the podcast. Especially when we're talking about animation.
At least she's human. Or humanoid.
Humanoid. Yeah, I know. Like, it's not up there on the weirdest things that have been thirsted over on this podcast.
Definitely not. Just listen to last week's episode.
But yeah, Femme Fatale Nebula is not something I knew I needed, but I definitely did. That whole episode, it's like a heist, Thanos just like chilling now because T'Challa's so good at talking to people.
Just being a therapist for the universe.
Right, like you fixed the problem. Like the relationship between Yondu and
T'Challa.
Star-Lord T'Challa, that moment when I'm just gonna give the line and not give the context because I want to spoil it. But like when he says, "There ain't no way in hell I'm leaving here without my kid," I was like, "Oh my god!" That hit me harder than every moment in Guardians 2. It's like, yo, they really did it with this show.
Yeah, it's funny because you say that it's like, yes, anything that caters towards Black Widow obviously is catered towards me. But I also feel the same way about Black Panther as well because he is my second favorite person in the MCU. So it's like 5 out of the 9 episodes have something to do with either Natasha or T'Challa.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, this definitely 5 out of 9 episodes. That's a really good number for me.
yeah, it's great. Jeffrey Wright is perfect as the Watcher.
That was so good.
He has a great, like, Rod Serling. He doesn't sound like Rod Serling, obviously, but as like that role for
The
the show.
tone. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm your guide, but also he's humanized in a way I didn't expect. Like he reacts to things in a way that, like, whoa, what's going on here? And I didn't think we were gonna get that kind of energy from him.
And there is a moment in the show where the Watcher sort of becomes almost a self-insert for the audience. There's a moment that
Yeah.
he has with Natasha.
Toward the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, there is no context for this. I just am so happy that Natasha got to use her dad's shield. Made me so happy. I was like, yes. Oh my goodness, this is the content I'm looking for.
I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out.
Yeah. I was
I was
super
like,
happy
oh,
about
right,
that.
that is that true.
There's the shot of her on the motorcycle in the last episode. Ridiculous. There's a shot of Hawkeye on the episode before that. That's super beautiful. There's a lot of like really great shots in this show.
Yeah, they did some great stuff, like with the shots, with the action toward the end when they're all
Yo, Captain
jumping.
Carter is like kicking Captain America's ass when it comes to action sequences. And I know it's because it's animated, but dang.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't even like that movie, but I love that episode.
See, and same. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that movie. Like, it's
don't really
like
care for that
very
movie.
lower tier for me in the MCU.
Definitely.
But like, which is funny because I think it's Gabby's favorite Captain America movie.
Really?
I think it is.
All right. That's a choice.
But yeah, that episode, I was just like, you took a movie that I am not a huge fan of, and you made it better
Yeah.
in a half hour.
They did so many interesting things. The zombies one is interesting to me because that's one of the few stories that I know from the comics is Marvel Zombies.
Nice.
And apparently a lot of these are based, well, I don't know about a lot of them, but at least a few of them are based in the comics. Like Captain Carter is a thing that happened in the comics. What ends up happening with T'Challa in the zombies episode happens in the comics. And Kayla and I were both like, please don't do this. Please don't do this thing that you're going to do. And then they did it. We're like, no, not again. But that episode had some great shots. The whole thing with Wanda,
Oh my gosh.
that whole scene is chilling and visually so stunning. She was great. And then we got kind of a callback in the last episode when she shows up again.
Yeah.
So
was a good one.
good. Everything with Wanda in the zombies episode is fantastic.
I loved episode 3, which was the basically what if somebody assassinated the Avengers. I thought that was a really interesting episode. Very dark.
That was wild.
But then there's the Doctor
Yeah.
Strange episode immediately after it, which was even darker than that was.
Yeah, that was, I'm going to have to say, the darkest of the season.
It
because
was
of
the
just-
bleakest.
The whole plot and premise is just, hey, you want to be sad? It's
And
like,
then it
goodness
ends with
gracious.
no hope. At least the assassin episode ended on a note of like hope.
Right. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing.
It was
Okay. That's not
wild,
what I
son.
expected.
Those first 2
or
episodes
wanted.
were like joyful and gleeful, and then it got dark real quick. We had to wait until Party Thor came for us to have a good time again. Oh my goodness.
He was great.
Yeah, the show is great, man, and I'm looking forward to what they do with the second season. I know that they said they're going to play around a lot more with Phase 4 in the second season. I know that they've said that they're definitely planning an episode that's going to revolve around the Black Widow movie, which obviously I'm excited about.
Of course.
I'm like, what are you going to what if about that movie?
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I mean, there's
There's
potential
plenty.
there.
And it's just a fun show. And it'll be interesting to see all the different universes and what they decide to do with all of them and see which universes I prefer over our actual Prime universe.
Honestly, there's a lot of them there for me. Like, the interesting thing with Thor as Party Thor is funny to me because I feel like Marvel has realized with the success of Ragnarok,
Yeah.
the version of Thor that a lot of people prefer.
Is funny Thor.
Yeah, so when they do What If, it's like, okay, we're going back to before Ragnarok, but still, you're gonna get funny Thor because we know that's what you want. And I was like, thank you, Marvel.
I was
I
also
appreciate that.
very happy that Natalie Portman was in the episode. I was like, wow, you guys really like won her back over because it felt like she was never going to come back after what happened with the Dark World.
Oh, yeah.
And now she's signed on for Thor Love and Thunder and she was on What If. I was like, oh, you guys like really got her back. And Natalie Portman has been one of my favorite actresses since I was a child. Shout out to Star Wars. So, you know, I was very, very excited about that. But yeah, What If is great. And
I concur.
I feel like you could probably watch it without having watched all of the MCU. This is just a bunch of
Definitely.
it's not it's canon, but like it's
But it's
not
not, yeah.
important to the
You don't
main
need to have
timeline.
seen the stories. Like, it's one of those things where seeing the other stories will enhance it. Like, oh, okay, I know what they're
Definitely.
referencing there. But the stories work on their own if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
I agree. It's great. Colin didn't see it because Colin is a hoe. He's nodding his head in agreement.
Sounds about right. So we're not doing what you've been watching this week because, as you've heard, we've watched a lot of stuff. Instead, we're going to go straight into our news section.
Yes, we are. The news, the news, the news. News number one. Maybe just for me. I don't know. We'll find out. That 70s show is getting a spinoff called That 90s Show with Netflix. And Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp are to return. Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp are Red and Kitty, respectively. Not respectfully.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be respectful about it. Anyway, they're Eric Foreman's parents. Timmy, did you watch That 70s Show?
I've seen episodes, but it never really appealed to me. It's not my thing.
So I love That 70s Show. If anything was going to make me feel old,
It was going to be a show that's set about your childhood.
it's That 90s show because That 70s Show started in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're looking back 20 years ago like, oh, look at the 70s. Ha ha ha. Here we are in 2021.
Now we're going to look
They're
back at the
doing
90s.
the show about the decade I was raised in. And oh my God, my heart. I'm not one of those people that gets inherently angry when I hear they're rebooting something that I liked as a kid.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I like that thing. Chances are I'm still going to like that thing unless they do something detrimental to it.
But even then, you still have the old thing.
Exactly. And I'm not pessimistic enough to assume that they're going to ruin it just because they're doing it again. It's always been a weird thought process to me. And Red and Kitty are partially my favorite thing about that show. They were hilarious. And those actors are hilarious. So I'm excited.
I liked Deborah Jo Rupp, speaking of Marvel, in WandaVision.
She was great.
Yeah.
She's always great. I saw something about the premise of the show. I don't know how confirmed it is, but that Eric and Donna have a daughter named Leia Foreman. To me, I don't know if you remember, but Eric is the biggest
He's a huge Star Wars fan, which means he named her after Princess Leia, which is dope.
Yes.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, according to the Variety article, because we do research here, it's 1995 and Leia Foreman is visiting her grandparents for the summer where she bonds with the new generation of Point Place. So it sounds like it's going to be, that show, but we have different teenagers, and this is Eric and Donna's daughter. I don't know if Topher Grace or Laura Prepon? 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 I've never known.
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, she's from Orange is the New Black and That 70s Show. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to be in it. I hope they are because they're great. But either way, I'm going to check it out. I got Netflix. I got time. I got nostalgia for the 90s. And I didn't know anything about the 70s. So now I can watch it and be like, that's not how the 90s were.
Oh my gosh.
Or I can just be like, hey, look, fiction. I can enjoy it. Either way, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
I'm down for it. Let's see what they gonna do. The next thing is for you, even though it's a horror movie thing, which is odd.
Yo, speaking of the 90s, Resident Evil film getting a reboot. We've discussed it before on this podcast. They finally released a trailer. Not only did they release a trailer, they released it on my birthday, and it was, I was so happy because I was just complaining on this podcast not too long ago about there not being a trailer yet and it coming out next month.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, there are actually 2 trailers. There's the American trailer and the US trailer, and then there's the international trailer. The international trailer is a much better trailer in my opinion. The US trailer does the thing that we do in the US where we market only the action stuff and not much else.
Yeah.
If this movie is as slow paced as the director has said it is, then that trailer doesn't really do justice to what the director is trying to convey. However, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. It doesn't come out till next month. I'm planning to go see it and be scared for 2 hours or an hour and a half. I don't know how long this movie is. I'm still super stoked. The first trailer was I liked it. A lot of Resident Evil fans did not, but I did.
Yeah.
It's got a real B horror movie vibe to it.
All right, that's a way to go.
Man, the monsters look creepy, but I'm also easily frightened.
I'm wondering how you're gonna do with this as a horror movie. Like,
Oh, I'm gonna cover my eyes.
is it gonna turn you out as a horror fan?
No,
Are you
it's
gonna be like
not.
Colin?
I can't.
You think
No, it won't, because I don't
hide
like
that
being
side of you?
afraid.
I don't think Colin likes being afraid. He just keeps doing it to himself.
No, it's got to be very select. Ugh, I'm horrified at the thought of me watching this movie. I'm nervous and excited all at the same time. But yeah, I also really love this cast. I'm a fan of Tom Hopper, who I believe is playing Wesker. I love Kaya Scodelario, and I have since Skins. I'm a huge fan of Avanjogia, who is getting a lot of slack because he's not a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Mm,
And he's playing
mm.
Leon. A lot of people are like, he should be playing Carlos. And I'm like, why are you guys saying that the Indian guy looks like he should be playing a Latino? What?
Look, they don't. If you brown,
That's it.
you play the brown person. As far as they're concerned, you have the whites and the non-white. It's like laundry.
It's like
That's how
laundry.
that's how a lot of white Americans view their actors.
That's really funny because
Like their
I
laundry.
wash my whites and my colors together. So
Look at you. You progressive. You integrating out here.
look at
I
that.
respect it.
Join the 21st century. Yeah, and then also, I've talked about her a lot on this podcast. I feel like I don't need to, but Hannah John Common is in the movie and she's playing Jill, and she's the main reason I'm going to sit through this horror fest.
Hmm.
Because I know it's going to be bloody and I know it's going to be frightening because I spent years watching my father play this video game when I was a child. He has already agreed to go see it with me. So this is
Oh, good.
fantastic. I'm going to have to see it during the day so that I don't like freak out at night. Just watching that trailer made me like, ugh, didn't like
Oh,
it.
God.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's one of those things where I have a feeling I know what the quality of this movie is. Like, I know what I'm
Interesting.
gonna get out of it before I go see it. And if it is that, that's fine with me because I knew that's what I was getting.
I like that. I like that
It's hard to be
mentality.
mad about a movie that I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna be groundbreaking. It's probably not gonna be the most amazing movie I ever see in my life. But if it does the things I want it to do and I have a good time watching it, then what's to be mad about?
Yeah. If you just want to go look at a screen and watch Kaya and Hannah get eaten, then that is your
And
business.
shoot zombies.
That too.
Yeah, that's my business. But also, they're really great actresses. And so is Avanjogia. He's a great actor. And so is Tom Hopper. So I don't know about Robbie
Tom Hopper's big dude from Umbrella
Yeah,
Academy, right?
Luther.
Yeah.
Cast is dope. I'm
8 nigga.
down. That's all I got to say on Resident Evil. Tune in next month when I review my first horror movie.
Oh, can't wait. I'm gonna get you all slowly but surely into horror movies.
I hope that you go see the movie so somebody else will talk about it with me.
We gonna see. I might.
I want you to, because you're the horror guy.
Yeah, I might be able to get Erica to go with me. I know Kayla's not down for it. Although she likes action stuff and she likes like Underworld. So this is in that like realm kinda.
Depending on how I'm feeling, you might get me to see it again. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right, last piece of news. Back to Marvel. Will Poulter has been cast as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes, he has.
I'm just
And
wondering what they're going to do with Adam Warlock, to be honest, because most of the things I've ever read with him have to do with Infinity Stones. So
honestly, yeah, it's like, yo, you're bringing him in now. That's how I felt when they did Age of Ultron and then brought in Ant-Man.
yeah,
Because all I knew about Ant-Man was that he made Ultron.
yeah.
So when they announced they were doing Ant-Man, I thought, oh yeah, they're gonna need someone to bring in Ultron. And then Ultron came out first, and I was like, why do we need Ant-Man? But Yeah, I don't know why we need Adam, but I like Will Poulter. He seems like a nice guy. He's a
Very,
good actor.
very cool guy. I really like
He's
Will
funny.
Poulter.
Normally, I would think of a character like Adam Warlock and think we don't really need someone funny, but it's James Gunn, so we probably need someone funny.
Possibly. But also, Will Poulter is not just funny. He has done some serious roles that he's been very good in.
Yeah, I think he played a racist cop in Detroit. I
He
didn't watch it.
did. Speaking of that movie, though, I loved what he said about playing a racist, where somebody was like, how do you get into the mindset of playing like a racist or whatever? And he was like, you don't. It's irrational. Like,
Oh yeah,
it
I
doesn't
remember
make
that.
sense. You don't do that.
Like, why would I want to do that?
It's
What's
horrible.
wrong with you?
So ever since, like, I was already a fan of Will Poulter at that point, but ever since then, I'm like, you're a good guy. I believe in you. Yeah, but also because he's done serious roles, that means that he'll probably be good at the role that comes with playing Adam Warlock, which is the Magus, which is Adam Warlock's darker persona. If they go down that road with that character, I would hope so. I hope that they're not just going to one-off Adam Warlock, even though I wanted him in Infinity War and Endgame, and that didn't happen. I'm also wondering if maybe this means that we get the Infinity Watch. That would be cool because James Gunn has said that this is the last Guardians movie for this team of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm.
And if that does remain true, if Feige is also on board with that, that could possibly mean that maybe Drax and Gamora go on to be part of the Infinity Watch like they are in the comics, which would be dope. I love the Infinity Watch.
I don't know anything about it.
So the Infinity Watch was a group that was formed by Adam Warlock to keep watch over the Infinity Stones. Make sure nobody
Makes
uses
sense.
them for bad things like Thanos did.
Yes, the bad thing.
That leads into the Infinity War comic series, which I highly recommend. I loved reading Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War a couple of years before Infinity War came out, and was deeply disappointed that Adam Warlock wasn't there. But yeah, I'm curious as to what they're gonna do with that character. Marvel's really bringing in some heavy hitters with Phase 4. Adam Warlock, Kang the Conqueror, the Watcher is kind of a big deal in and of himself.
Yeah.
And then we're bringing in Celestials next month. Check out our review for Eternals when that comes out.
I feel like they were in the writer's room or the business room, the movie room.
Whatever room that Feige has for his story people.
And somebody was just like, yo, are we out of Marvel characters that people know? Like,
yes, we are.
Is it just are we just in the comic book section? Like only the people who really read comics are gonna know these characters? And they're like, oh yeah, we've been there.
We started with the B list and now we are in the C list.
They're like, we have any more Spider-Man? Like, nah, we did everything with Spider-Man, bro. We gotta go into space. It's like, all right, Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock and Celestials. Freaking Kang the Conqueror. But I'm a nerd, so I'm with it.
I'm also a nerd. As I said last week, I just like cape shit.
Yeah, so shout out to Will Poulter. We're all happy for you. All of us here have nothing but good things to say about this casting because Demi and I are the only ones talking. So there's no negativity here.
Colin doesn't care that much. Anyway.
Yes, and Gabby's not here because she abandoned us.
That's all we've got for you guys today.
Yes, it is. Thank you for listening to all of that. As always, thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and I for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube, and nerding out with me about Marvel stuff.
As we do.
As we do. Colin, thank you for technically being here, even though you just kind of died halfway through.
Yeah, I was going to say, he asked a few questions in that top half and then with it out.
Yeah.
He had some James Bond jokes to make, you know.
Yeah, that bottom half didn't really do it for him.
He
I was making a face. Just gonna silently make faces for the rest of the where were we? Oh,
Choices
yes.
were made.
Hey.
There it is.
Audience, let us know what you thought about No Time to Die, What If, Ted Lasso, the news, Marvel, separating actors like you separate your laundry. All right. Yeah, let us know all these things in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you want to bond with me over two of my favorite shows of the year, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba, and we can talk about it.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
If you guys want to talk to me about my post-concert depression, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Yes, post-concert depression is a thing.
Okay, they wasn't expecting that. Also,
Also.
you can find Gabby on Twitter at No Time to Podcast.
Ooh, a good one.
Thank you.
Topical.
It's relevant, topical, and accurate.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
She might actually like that one and hate it at the same time, but not like the usual type of hatred, just hated that she's not able to be here.
Right. She ain't trying to be here. Anyway, it's been different. Bye.
Bye. Oh, and tune in next week. We will be doing a Throwback Thursday for Dune.
Oh, yeah, I heard it sucks. We'll find out.